The other sector that's bounced back in today's trading session and tell you why metal stocks are shining yet again. First up, the RBI cut rates, the repo rates, that's likely to help the economy. So that's point number one. The second factor is the indications are that the rupee is slipping a little bit and it'll be allowed to find its own feet. A depreciating rupee actually is not so bad news because it restricts some imports and it helps the metal industry actually. So that's point number two. Point number three is ArcelorMittal, the listed stock overseas. Well, that one was up close to around 12-13% overnight. And their commentary was very, very good. They have mentioned that the steel industry is at cyclical lows. They're also forecasting that, that demand X of China, well, that could grow by around 2.5 to around 3.5% in 2025 in comparison to 2024. And for India, they were factoring in 6 to 7% growth. So that's good news. They believe that demand will be much better in 2025 in comparison to 2024. So that's the third point that we're talking about. Point number four is, again, there is these reports that are coming up that China is going to do something about their property market that has been very, very weak. And the commentary that came out there is that they're looking to get the real estate investment momentum back to speed as soon as possible. So that optimism on China is another point out there that worked in their favor. And finally, there is hope of some kind of protection that's coming in there for the steel industry. Some kind of anti-dumping duty, some kind of protection from imports as well. We have had Mr. Sajjan Jindal talk about it. We had Mr. Jayant Acharya that voiced his opinion as well. And the hope is that somewhere in the middle of February, we could hear something. So because of that, the steel stocks are doing well. So a few short points out there. If there is some duty that comes in there, you could see a price increase that comes about. In January, prices were still more or less flattish. In February, there's an attempt to push up prices. And keep in mind, global steel prices as well will have to recover from here on because those Chinese producers that are not integrated at these sort of spreads, they can't make any money. So the hope is both globally and domestically, things should look up, which will result in an EBITDA per ton expansion as well. Explains why metal stocks are twinkling today.
Green, plenty of green on those names, Nigel. Thanks for that explanation and context as well. For the timing, let's